In this video, we're going to talk about how to build a bill of materials for the Ruckus ICX 7450 series of product. So first, the 7450 is a mid-range access aggregation. Could be used in either situation. Comes in a PoE, non-PoE version, as well as a 48-port fiber version. So before we start, make sure you have the latest price list. You can get that from the partner portal under sales resources. So quick overview, 7450. So it comes in a 24 ports of 10, 100, 1000, 48 ports of 10, 100, 1000, 48 ports of SFP, and then there's 3 modular slots. So there's a module slot in the front, and then 2 module slots in the back. So normally these back ones are used for 40 gig modules for stacking. But they could also be 4x10 gig copper or 4x10 gig fiber. As well, there's an IPsec module, which we'll talk about later. And then the front port could be the same type of module, the 1x40, the 4x10 gig copper, 4x10 gig fiber, or 4x1 gig SFP, which is not supported in the back. It will support redundant hot swappable power supplies, and redundant hot swappable fan trays. There's also the first 8 ports are capable of PoE plus, PoE plus plus, which is 65 watt, or POH, which is 95 watt. So only those first 8 ports are capable. We look at the modules. So 1x40 QSFP, or QSFP plus, I should say, supported in the front or the back. It's not supported in the front of the 48 port, just the 24. I should point that out. And it is the primary stacking module, so it can be used for stacking or uplink. The 4x10 gig fiber or SFP plus module can be used in the front or the rear of any of the models. It supports stacking in the front only, so you can't put them in the back module slots and stack with them. It is capable of MACsec, and it also capable of native LRM optic support. The 4x10 gig copper can be used in the front or rear of any of the modules. It's uplink only, so you cannot stack with that with the gig copper, 10 gig copper. And the 4x1 gig fiber, it's usable in the front only on any of them, and uplink only. So you cannot stack with 1 gig, of course, but you also cannot use it in the rear slots in any of the devices. So there's also an IPsec VPN module. So it's capable of 10 gigs of throughput per module. You can install it in the front or the rear module slots. However, the caveat is you can only have 1 active module per stack. So you can have multiple modules installed in the stack, but only one of those is going to take over as active, and the other ones will be standby modules. As far as airflow goes, when you order the fans and the power supplies and the bundles, you will order them with -E or -I, depending on how the airflow goes. And so the way to think of that is from the rear of the chassis, is it exhausting? So is the air exhausting out? That would be the -E, or is it intake at the rear? And that would be the -I, right? So intake, -I, so intake from the back, and exhaust from the rear is the -E. You cannot mix and match. You have to have all the same fans and power supplies. It is reversible, but in order to reverse it, you have to take out all of your fans and power supplies and replace them with all new ones. So it's not that you just throw a switch. The 7150 and 7250 have fixed exhaust airflow only, so they are not available in a -I model. And -Is really would only be used primarily used in a data center where you needed to put the switch at the back of a rack and have it pulled in from the cool aisle there. 3 different power supply options available. So there's a DC power supply option. It'll supply up to 255 watts per power supply. So if you have redundant power supplies, it's 510. The 16 -E or -I is going to provide 750 watts per power supply, or 1500 watts for the chassis with redundant power supplies. And then the 15, the RPS 15-E or -I is for the non-PoE models. So included in the carton, you got the 7450 device itself. You have a 2-post rack mount kit with the appropriate screws. You have a wall mount screws with plastic anchors. You have a power cord. So if the bundle you order has power supplies included, then it's going to include a power cord. If not, then no power cord is included, and you have to order that separately. There's a power cord retaining clip. There is a console cable, a DB9 adapter, and rubber feet in case you want to install it on a desk. So depending on the SKU you order, it may come with a single fan and power supply. It may come with redundant fan and power supply, but we'll look at those SKUs. So here's the switch SKUs. So I know there's many. There's multiple options here. So first up, we have the 7450-24. So without the P, this is the non-PoE model. So it comes in the base box with the 3 slots empty and no power supplies and no fans. So those all need to be ordered separately should you wish to go that route. We have the, next we'll do the 24-E, which is 24 ports. It's got a 4x10 gig SFP uplink in the front slot, and then 2 40 gig QSFP plus modules in the back slots, 1 power supply, 1 fan tray. Lastly, we would have the 24-40G-E. So this comes with 3 40 gig modules. So normally that is, you use the 2 40 gig modules in the back for stacking, and then you're going to use the front 40 gig module for an uplink to your core distribution. Again, comes with 1 AC power supply and 1 fan. So these are all going to default to -E, right? So if you want to change that, if you want -I, normally you would order the base box and build that bundle yourself. Then the PoE models, so the 24P, again, base box, no fan, no power supply, no modules. There's the -E, which is 4x10 and 2x40, and then 1 power supply, 1 fan. The E2 is the same thing, the 4x10 and the 2x40 with 2 power supplies and 2 fan trays. So if you have 2 power supplies, you have to have 2 fan trays installed. And then the E-RMT3, so it's the same thing. The 4x10, the 2x40, 1 power supply, 1 fan, and 3 years of remote support. And then lastly, the 40G-E, which is the same as the above. So it is 3x40 gig, 1 power supply, 1 fan tray. So it repeats itself in the 48 port. So the base 48 port, the 48 port with the 4x10 and 2x40, 1 power supply, 1 fan. Then we have the fiber. So this is 48 ports of SFP. There's no 24 port version of this. So the base 48 port fiber with no modules, no fan and power supply, with the 4x10, 2x40, and then 1 power supply, 1 fan, redundant power supply and fan, and then 1 power supply, 1 fan with remote support. And then lastly, the PoE models are exactly the same, right, with the -E, -E2, -E-RMT, and then there's a 48 port PoE stacking. So this one is no module installed in the front slot, just the 2 1 port 40 gig modules installed in the back for stacking. So it's a stack member. So if you don't need an uplink off this device, then you don't need to buy that front module slot, or you can always add it later should you wish to. So with 1 power supply, 1 fan tray, or another model of that with the RMT3. So the same thing, just with the 3 years of support built into that bundle. Options. So we have the fan. So again, if you're using redundant power, you need to use redundant fans. So there's the -E and -I models of the fan trays. There is the 3 different types of power supplies. So the RPS 15 is non-PoE, the 16 is PoE on AC power, and then the RPS 16 DC E&I is well, it can go in the PoE or non-PoE model, but it's the DC version. We have the 5 different types of modules. So 1 by 40 gig, 4 by 10 gig copper, 4 by 10 gig fiber, 4 by 1 gig fiber, and then this service module or the IPsec module. There's a MaxSec license if you wish to run MaxSec, and then there's a premium license if you want to run the premium layer 3 features. So there's no ports on demand. Whatever you buy those modules in is what they're capable of. So you don't need to license ports differently on this particular model. There's a couple of rack mount kits. There's a Air Plenum kit for 4-post. There's a spare 2-post rack kit, but the device comes with one out of the box. There's a universal 4-post rack, and then a FIPS security seal should you need that for FIPS federal compliance. The warranty is limited lifetime advanced replacement, so next business day advanced replacement. Comes also with 90 days of 8x5 support. So you're going to want to add remote support to that at the least, I would think. And the note here, optical transceivers are not covered under the lifetime warranty. They need the NDP or 4-hour support to cover replacement on optics. So 2 types of offerings that are step up from the basic warranty. One is Watchdog, which is a reactive in 1, 3, and 5 year with next business day or 4-hour replacement. And then Bulldog, which is our proactive support or premium level support, 1, 3, and 5 years. Again, next business day or 4-hour replacement options to go with that. So these are the Watchdog versions. So 4-hour support in 1, 3, and 5 years. Next business day in 1, 3, and 5 years. Remote support, which just adds 7x24 TAC onto the warranty. And then the secure uplift for federal customers and secure environments that cannot return failed equipment. Optics. So first thing you always want to do when quoting a device is check that optics data sheet, or at least the optics matrix in the price list to say what optics are supported in what module and what port in which device. That is a critical component. You need to make sure that you have the right optics installed. The note here says third-party optics are not supported. They may function, but we can't assure the quality, and we can't test every third-party optic, so we're not going to support them. So if you have an issue and you call into TAC, they're going to ask you to replace those optics with Ruckus optics before they continue to troubleshoot. As far as stacking cables goes, so twin ax or direct attach cables, we recommend that you always use passive cables whenever possible. They are less expensive, they run cooler, and they draw less power. So they're all around, they're a win. So if you're running less than 5 meters, half meter, 1 meter, or 3 meter, then stick with those passive cables if you at all can. The active cables, we sell them, they're fully supported, but we recommend you use passive. A few important notes about stacking here. So you cannot stack on module 1 on the 10, 100, 1000 interfaces at all. We support stacking on the 4x10 gig fiber module and only in slot 2, so the front slot, right? You cannot install those in the back slot and stack with them. You can install them in the back slot and use them for uplink, but not for stacking. And we support the 1x40 gig for stacking in modules 3 and 4 only. You can't plug it into the front slot and stack with it there. So just specific in where those go. And the other note is breakout mode is not supported on the 7450 at all. So you can't take that 40 gig interface and split it into 4 10 gigs with a stacking cable. It is not supported in the 7450. So our sample bill of materials. this is an easy one, right? Because of the bundles, we make it really, really easy. So in this case, we've got three 7450-48P PoE switches that we want to stack together. We want to add the layer 3 licenses, and we want to add 3 years of remote support. So we've chosen the 7450-48P-stack-E-RMT3. So that includes the 48 port 1 gig PoE switch with two 40 gig QSFP modules installed in the back slots, right? So because it's the stack, it doesn't have anything installed in that front slot. If we wanted the module in the front to be an uplink, then we could have ordered a different bundle for that. But in this case, we don't need those uplinks, so we're going to save a little bit of money. It's going to come with one 1,000 watt AC power supply, one fan tray, front to back airflow, and 3 years of remote support. So all in one SKU, we've got pretty much everything we need. So there's quantity 3 of those. We've added 3 of the passive QSFP to QSFP passive copper cables at 1 meter, right? So 3 of those is going to complete our stack together. And then lastly, the layer 3 software. So we've added 3 of those. I need the premium license for all of the models. So it's all or nothing here. You can't add the premium software license to some of the stack and not others. Everybody has to have it or nobody has it. So we've added it to all 3 to complete our bill of materials. So pretty easy with those bundles. They make it easy. If you don't want to do what those bundles have to offer, then by all means buy the base switch, order the fans, order the power supplies, and order the appropriate modules and the appropriate support by all means. But you can certainly save some money by choosing one of the bundles. So that's it. Pretty straightforward on the 7450. Just watch what optics you're using, watch what modules you're installing in which slot, and of course, if you're stacking, make sure you know which modules will support stacking and where those can be installed. But otherwise, a great switch and easy to sell with those bundles. So thanks very much and have a great day. Take care.